Good evening. We are 1 week removed from the F1 finale. The season is officially over. To help us recap, we have our resident F1 specialist and my brother, Drew, in the top left.
What's up, everybody?
So we watched the finale together. We have
Yes.
not spoke about it really since then, and we are recording almost a full week later. So we've had time to digest, had time to
That's
make some
true.
notes, and we're going to dive through the finale. We're going to dive through the whole season. First and
Oh,
foremost, the finale. It happened. It was a three-way race for the championship, and the race was less than exciting.
Yeah.
well,
Uh,
I don't know. Depends how much you care about math and how much you care about cars.
Depends if you're a Lando fan.
Well, that too for sure. I think if you're sitting there with your calculator, it might have been exciting if you wanted to watch cars do fun things on track. Yeah, kind of
We
fucking
didn't
it
see.
sucked.
So, bearing the lead there is, yes, Lando Norris is in fact a world champion. We have somebody who is not Max Verstappen for the first time in a few years and not Lewis Hamilton for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
First time world championship winner. And I got to say props to him because he had a fantastic second half of the season. In the end, he did win. I don't think he necessarily deserved the win, but we'll cover that a little bit later here.
Ooh, I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
There's some takes coming. So Lando did just enough in the finale. He finished third, which won him the championship.
Yeah.
How do
That's
you
all you
see
need.
that? Exactly. So that's what I was going to ask is how do you see that race from him?
Well, I was ranting about this all season. You guys will both know this, but risk management is genuinely so much of modern Formula One. It's unfortunate. It's annoying because most of the time that means you don't do what the spectator maybe thinks is the most interesting thing, but that's what you have to do. That's risk management. And there's not a single model in their whole massive lab of what is it, hundreds of engineers that's going to say, take that risk and try and fight either of them. Why? Why do it?
Yeah.
It's the best strategy by far. And I think that was the entire intention. I don't know if they ever alluded to it officially, but letting Oscar through was always the plan. If Lando was P2.
Yeah.
Right? That was that's plan A.
Mhm.
And why not, right? Why would you ever risk that otherwise?
Well, why not? We can cover that in a little bit as well as maybe pick a driver to back, but
that's very true. I don't disagree with that at all, but the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah, Lando does just enough. Max did everything he could possibly do. Took pole, won the race, and it just wasn't enough.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think we'll also touch on this later. I think we'll talk about that more. But Max decided to lose this championship ultimately, and it comes down to the entire 24 race season, and he made some decisions that put him there. So, yeah, you fought now, but you should have thought about that 3-4 months ago, maybe too.
Yeah, I'm not sure where his head was at some of the earlier parts of the season because again, yes, we'll touch on that. He did just enough to lose as much as he did just enough to
so true.
Keep it interesting at the end, but yeah, we talked about it. A fairly boring race on TV because the cameras followed the top three, and I understand why. It's a three-way shootout. There were opportunities, I guess, for somebody who wasn't named Lando to win, but it was as close to a sure thing as it was. But there was lots of action in the back half of the field that we didn't see.
Yep.
At any point.
Yep.
Something really funny actually was Lance Stroll overtaking Behrman at the end, which was huge for the constructors race because Aston jumps Haas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it wasn't shown. There
not
was
even
no
a replay.
coverage for that.
Yeah.
No, not even a replay, not even a
it.
small box. Nothing.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll makes his first overtake of the year, and it's a big one for Aston Martin, and it's not even shown.
Lance
Crazy.
Slimy.
Again, I get it because of who the top three were, the position that they were in with Lando, Max, and Oscar. But there was definitely some action that we missed.
Other than when Leclerc come fresh out of the pits, and it looked like he was faster, and he did a second on his first lap. I get that, but otherwise, like the gaps weren't even changing. What are we doing? Everything wasn't going to change in one lap until someone literally ran off the road. So
Yeah.
why can't we see literally anything else? I don't get that at all.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that last race. I think the reason I haven't talked about it with anybody since then is I just haven't really thought about it. There was nothing for me. There was nothing for me to reflect on really. Hamilton starts the race in last. He made up a lot of places. Really cool to see.
He also had a great race.
Yeah,
Not shown.
Absolutely stellar race. Doesn't matter at all, and I get why they wouldn't show it because it doesn't matter. Like,
Did he though?
I mean,
Did he though, or was he just going back to where he was supposed to be in the grid with another horrible quali?
yeah, 100%. But I mean, you still got to be able to do
It is.
right?
It's overtakes,
yeah,
for sure.
You
It
still
is
got to be able
overtakes,
to do
but
it. For me, I think the finale was basically a summary of the entire season for me. Max was the fastest driver. Oscar was the second fastest driver, but Lando was the third fastest driver and the most consistent. And that's what it boils down to, right? Lando has more experience than Oscar. I think you give Oscar a few more years driving F1 and he'll be absolutely stellar. I mean, you've seen it in the past with Lando too. He's crumbled under some moments of pressure and stuff, and I can't imagine for Oscar that wasn't in the back of his mind when he's in there for the title fight going through the midpoint of the season, that he kind of had some struggles there. And it's very obvious the type of track that he likes and the type of track that he doesn't like as well. But for me, that finale was just kind of a recap of the entire season. No, it didn't summarize the excitement that the season brought, but those top three drivers kind of landed where I saw them competing all season based on their driving. But Lando was the most consistent, and that's why he wins the championship, in my opinion. So,
including some extremely questionable Mercedes strategy call in the final race with Oscar, leaving him out as long as they did on the first stint of tires. Which, so we talked about, it was always the plan to let Oscar through for McLaren. But then what was the purpose of leaving him out there that long? He didn't put Max under any pressure because of the offset strategies. He didn't have any chance of finishing first with that strategy.
Yeah.
Other than giving him a feel-good moment at the end of the year, like, I don't know what the point of that plan was with McLaren.
Yeah,
I think
it did feel like pity at some level, right? Like, what else are you going to accomplish with that?
I think it felt like pity, and I think it was also McLaren kind of laying down their expectations of what were going to happen. You got the fastest car on the grid. Max is the only driver that's capable of challenging that in a car that's less capable than their car. And to be honest, the midfield just didn't have the speed to challenge anybody enough to even make that an opportunity for Max or Oscar to win, right? Like, you needed the George Russells, the Lewis Hamiltons, the Charles Leclerc, kind of that lower top of the field, I guess, to be in there. And during the end of the season there, it became very clear that it was Max and it was the McLarens, and they were the fastest ones on the track.
Well, I think Charles did, obviously a pretty good job. He was kind of biting at the chomp there until the end.
He did good, but like
he was miles ahead of George.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me, for sure. George definitely had a subpar race, and that definitely killed some of the excitement that we maybe could have had.
Yeah, I think
if George was where Charles's was, it would have been a very different race, for sure.
I agree, yeah, I think. But
yeah.
It was just, Charles did very good, but it's very obvious that the Ferrari didn't have the pace this year to challenge a McLaren, right? So
for sure.
You needed another team or two or a driver or two to be in the mix, right? You needed them to have the speed that the McLarens had, and none of them were even close. And it was very evident through quali, right? Like the top three were miles ahead of the other guys, the bottom 17. So it's just kind of like, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one-off laps and stuff that kind of got in there and stuff, but based on pure race pace, it was very obvious to me, at least, that Lando, as long as he didn't bin it and hit a wall, he was gonna take the championship, right? So
Yep.
I think
Which
that
we've
was kind
seen.
of
I was afraid.
yeah,
I thought it
was-
that's fair. But I think to me that's kind of the idea of letting Oscar through is it's McLaren being like, here, Oscar, take your second place because Lando's gonna
Yeah.
take the championship anyways, so we might as well give you the higher podium stand, right? For now, because I don't know. Little
a weird
consolation
one.
prize, I guess, to finish the year with a little bit of confidence.
Yeah. I mean, you could always come, get your tinfoil hat on and say, well, was that them finally prioritizing a driver? Just making sure Oscar didn't actually ever catch Max? Like,
Yeah.
I would have still. At this point, I'm going to rant about this later. I obviously don't agree with the whole papaya rules thing. But on the off chance Lando did throw it in the wall, oh my God, do what you need to do for Oscar. Like, it felt like they were like, okay,
Which,
yeah, well, now we don't
yeah,
stress out
they
Lando
didn't
this
do.
way. They
Yeah.
didn't do. Yeah, it's been 24
Yeah.
races of being pissed at the team I cheer for. Really,
yeah.
is kind of what sums up this season. So
Yeah. I think
It's a
that's
Leafs fan.
that's probably
Yeah.
what they were doing actually, is they were trying to give, yeah, like you said, Oscar the opportunity, but then in typical McLaren style, they messed it
Did it
up.
poorly.
Like,
You chose
they had the
poorly.
best
Yeah,
of intentions,
Yeah.
the best of intentions with the worst way of going about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talked about that with the McLaren strategy. We're going to segue into the team recap here over the full season.
Mm.
McLaren absolutely runs away with the McLaren with the constructor championship. Pardon
No,
me,
just
800
call it the McLaren Championship.
Well, you might as well. With
Yeah, you might as well.
833 points, Mercedes comes second with 469.
Yeah.
And miraculously, Max Verstappen drags Red Bull to third place over Ferrari.
Yeah.
That is
Insane.
incredible. I say Max
Insane.
Verstappen because his teammates combined scored 33 points.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought.
Max,
Wow,
Max had the
impressive.
other 420-ish there.
Lord, wow,
Unbelievable that Red Bull finished ahead of Ferrari.
that's crazy.
This season for Ferrari is going to be an introspective one. They they've got to figure out a way to get it back on track because they're an extremely storied company, obviously. Founders of F1, like
Yeah.
they need to be in the mix and not where they are. And then a massive fall off, but expected to the midfield, where Williams somehow pulls out a 5th place finish from way down in the depths the year before.
Mhm.
Isn't that
They're on
just
quite the
incredible?
rise. No, I know
Yeah.
it's crazy. I have big hopes for them in the future.
Yeah,
I think that they're
do
going to
too.
pull a McLaren type rise. I hope.
I do
at least.
too. So then rounding it out, you have RB, Aston, Haas, Kick, and Alpine at the bottom, which we're gonna touch on some predictions regarding them in a little
Just
bit as well.
Terrible. Terrible.
But
stuff.
the McLaren strategy wasn't just a bummer in the last race of the year. This was, as Drew said, 24 straight races of going, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ferrari was the team going into this year that was memed, clown heads,
Yes.
for being the team that pulls out extremely questionable decisions. And McLaren got away with it a lot of the time because their car is extremely fast. They have 2 extremely talented drivers, but it could have been so much worse with some of the strategies that they had. And like you said, the papaya rules.
I dread those 2 words so much. I get pissing papayas now. I genuinely. I have a Brazilian fiance. We have papayas in the house. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
This is I'm beyond frustrated. Like the fact that we have a team like Ferrari on the grid that genuinely it feels like for all the compute power and math we can do in the world, they genuinely just don't think anything through. They didn't look as bad as McLaren. How is that possible?
There's
It's-
also
I-
there's also the point to bring up that maybe they would have looked as bad if they actually had a challenging car. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Super
look
valid.
bad when
That's
you're
super
when you're
valid.
happy with finishing in 8th and 6th place every race, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to mess that up when your car is obviously faster than the midfield and lower cars, but not nearly as fast as the top 3 teams. It's like
Yeah.
how you can't look stupid in that position. You're literally how many times
Well-
this year did Hamilton finish the race with a 30-second gap in front of him and a 30-second gap behind him. He was in no
Yeah.
man's land, right? Like it's hard
Yeah.
to mess up your strategy so bad when you've got such a big buffer in between the two things that are on either end of you.
That's true. Yeah, when you're out of the spotlight, it is easier to get away with this stuff.
Yeah.
They still had their moments this year, but yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
obviously McLaren's being hyper scrutinized. They're the thing to meme this year, right? So any
Yeah.
chance people get, they'll do it. But
Yeah.
still, in my opinion, Ferrari pulled off a less upsetting year
Yeah.
overall,
Yeah, I would
strategy
agree.
wise, than McLaren.
Yeah, but
Ugh.
McLaren's refusal to back a driver, and ultimately, I mean, Lando fans are probably thankful that they didn't, because Oscar was leading the championship by a wide margin, and they still refused to back him.
Yep.
They didn't back Lando until the final race of the year. It's strange.
Mhm.
I saw a clip actually earlier today about Lewis Hamilton and his teammate Bottas versus his teammate Rosberg,
Mm,
and how those were handled, and
Yeah.
both internally and for Hamilton's win streak. So it's just kind of historical, is it not, that you would put your faith in one driver and prioritize him when it comes to pit stops, to strategy, to qualifying laps. Why did they not do that at any point this year?
I blame Weber on some level.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
blame Weber and whatever sneaky contract clauses he put in there early season. And then as soon as Oscar started winning, they're like, "Oh, this is a non-issue.
Mhm.
We don't
Yeah.
have to give preference to Oscar," which they clearly never wanted to do.
No.
Not
No.
even once did they want to do that. I I have notes on this. I was gonna bring this up later. But yeah, the fact that by Singapore race 16 or 18, they'd won the constructors.
Yeah.
It was like they'd literally already
It's
clinched it.
over.
The fact that in that very same race, as soon as he crossed the checkered flag, we say, Oscar, you're 22 points ahead of Lando. Let's go. You're our number one driver. They've nothing else to lose now. Prioritize the driver. Look at Red Bull, the literal opposite. They put everything they have, every dollar and cent they have, into making Max's car work for him.
Mhm.
Look how close that got them. They had the fourth, fifth fastest car on the grid. And he got so
Third in the
close
constructors with one
because
driver.
McLaren simply couldn't just man up and say, "Yeah, Lando, I know you're the senior driver. It's not like you're bad, but we're gonna put our eggs in this basket." They didn't do it. And it just doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. They won the constructors by like 300 points. You didn't have to try that hard to get points with both cars. You clearly had it in the bag by like race 10. What are we doing? Why are we
Es-
making everyone sit
Yeah.
through this?
Especially since just because you've prioritized Oscar doesn't mean that he still doesn't have that second half collapse. And Lando, still just being a good
Exactly.
driver, is still there and is able to put himself in a
Yeah.
position near the end to then be the prioritized driver. But
Yep.
they just never made a call. They never
Nope.
ever made a call. And for me personally, I don't think Oscar has much life left at McLaren.
I don't know if I agree. We'll
I
see.
I could actually see that. I think there's a lot of validity behind that. I think this was a one-off for McLaren, if I'm honest. I don't see them having a fast enough car like they've had for the last 2 years, well, year and a half, because they started out the season not great last year. But
That's so true.
their
Yep.
car for the majority of this year, their car was leagues ahead of everybody else on the grid. And it was
Mhm.
it was very evident when you watched qualifying, right? Like they were constantly at the top of the page. You would see a driver make a mistake and he'd still be a tenth ahead of the third place driver because his teammate was in first at the time. And I don't see McLaren learning. They're like, we've talked about it for how long now already? We're 20 minutes into this recording and we've talked about it for probably 15 of it. McLaren is not learning. They're not growing in the way that they set up a strategy. They refuse to pick a driver. They refuse to do anything even balanced. Like they're constantly just deciding things on the fly, it feels like. And I do not see them going into these new regulations having a fast enough car to get away with the things that they pulled this year. Even they just had a fast enough car to where they could mess up and still end up on the podium with both cars. And I don't
Yeah.
see that happening.
So yeah, quickly on that, my biggest fear for McLaren next year is they go, okay, Lando, you got your moment, and now they try and shoehorn Oscar into being the lead driver. Okay, it's your turn. It's
Mhm.
your turn to win, and it's not how it should be. I fear that they're going to open the year up backing Oscar to try and make it fair, because that's how it's felt all year. Oh, tit for tat, you give up your position, you give up your. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? Let the drivers in the first few races decide who's going to be your number one driver, and then back somebody.
That's super valid. There's no way. I'm sorry. There's no way Lando is faster than Oscar at the start of next year. Lando is going to be still coming down from the high. Hungover. First of all, it's only February. But no, I think you see this in a lot of like kind of one-off champions, which I don't think Lando is good enough to be champion 7 times over. There's no way. You hit that goal, and I think mentally something flips, and you kind of just tank. You're not going to train as hard. You're not going to focus as hard.
Yeah.
And you're just, you've made it. You made your goal. What's the point now? Whereas Oscar is going to walk away being 10 points behind, more or less, and say, I deserve that championship. I'm a man possessed. And he's going to go so hard. And I think as long as he solves his, the fact that he can't drive in Europe issue, I don't know what it is in that point of the season. As soon as he solves that, if he has half decent car, he will be up there for sure. No question.
Yeah. Lando
All right,
has the
like you-
James Hunt effect.
Exactly.
Not quite as like cut and dry as James Hunt was,
Yeah.
but I agree.
But
I think
exactly.
he's got the same sort of mentality. He's got his win now, and he's probably okay with being a midfield, even if he won't admit that.
Exactly.
He's probably okay with being up there in the.
I saw it in his eyes in
Yeah.
the interview right afterwards. He's like, wow, I did it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm like,
We're
this
done."
is one, man. I want to see you say, all right, yeah, I want another one.
Yeah.
But no, there's no way.
Yeah.
So like you alluded to, Colby, this has been a McLaren dominant discussion so far. So we do got to try and roll through some other teams here. We touched on Ferrari. I'll just wrap up with saying,
Bleh.
fourth place is unacceptable in the constructors.
Unquestionably.
I genuinely hope for the sport that in the new regulations next year they can get it figured out and be competitive, because we need more at the top of the field.
Oh, for sure.
Hop along with me as I jump through our notes here. I'm going to go to Mercedes next, and the team who was either the third best car some weekends or the second best car some weekends, or on one, maybe 2 occasions, they were the best car, and sometimes they were a midfield team.
Yep.
And they cruised that car to third place in the constructors. How do you see their somewhat anonymous season?
It's not a surprise, right? Like, they never figured these ground effect cars out. Not even once. At any point during the whole regulations did they have a car that they were confident in. And they'd say that. They said that the entire time, right? So I think they're probably happy with the result they got, because they just
hugely
hate
second in
these-
the constructors is
Exactly.
incredible.
Yeah, they're probably thrilled and probably a little surprised, just like we are, because
Yeah.
they never figured it out.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
also insanely evident. I saw a thing the other day. The no side pod car that everyone scrutinized and was so bad got
Yeah.
more podiums than any of their other ground effects era car. Like,
Yep.
they got more podiums with that car that everyone labeled as an absolute piece of crap that they need to
Mhm.
abandon than any of the cars following that. And that's just like, I mean, it was an impressive year based on their previous years and stuff. Like, they were consistently kind of in that top 6 mix, right? With at least George.
there, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was an impressive season, but it's amazing to me that a team that dominated on getting their car right for the last previous 2, whatever you want to call it, eras, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that they just could not figure it out. Like, it just blows my mind that they could not figure out what they were doing wrong.
Should have just copied Red Bull, guys. That's what everyone else did.
Yeah.
That's what everybody else did.
It
Yeah.
seemed to work okay for RB.
exactly.
if
And we will
ever.
see that next year.
Yeah.
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 Um, as I mentioned, third place was Red Bull. That's largely in part thank you to Max Verstappen, because for the start and especially the middle portion of the year, that car was a dog.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I put it 8th fastest some races, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Just
the
terrible.
second, not even I guess the second half, the last third of the year, Verstappen was incredible
Mm-hmm.
and did things with that car that no other driver can do. Clearly, as they've cycled through 5, 6 secondary drivers, and nobody's been able to even figure that car out to
Yeah.
any type of degree.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a disappointment for Red Bull, slipping another spot down there in the constructors. Another new driver next year, but it's all new next year, right?
It's all new. It's all
It's-
new. You
yeah.
just wait.
Yeah.
You just wait. I hope. I pray to God Isaac doesn't. Yeah, go the way of the last 7 drivers.
Williams in 5th. Again, incredible. James Vowles is a man with a plan. He put together his team. He got his driver, and
Mm-hmm.
although Sainz had a terrible first half of the season, Albon was there. They flip-flopped in the second half, and they walked their way to 5th place in the constructors.
Mhm.
Crazy, crazy. The fact that RB is not in that 5th spot is absolutely mind-boggling to me, especially after the start of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By some margin too.
Yeah. They just, I think, started focusing on 2026, and Val said, "Nope, we'll take that extra money. Thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I
got it
mean, yeah,
figured.
the money is got to be huge for an outfit like
Yeah.
Williams, who again used to be the cream of the crop, but have been desperately clawing their way back out of this long, dark, deep tunnel that
Yes. Yeah.
that
When the
saw the
fact
likes
that
of Latifi and Logan Sargent and
exactly, dude, exactly. And they had like 2 sponsors on the car that year. Like,
yeah,
it was rough. But Valves is half the reason McLaren/Braun were so good for so
genius.
long, right? So yeah, he's got one of those, I don't know, whatever it is. It's just like Adrian Newey. He's just got that halo around him that things just kind of work. So
Yeah.
You touched on it, RB in 6th. Even though they had kind of a cycle of drivers as well, with Lawson not starting there but finishing there, that car was spectacular.
yeah,
They probably should have finished 5th, but they had some results with 2 younger drivers that are to be expected from time to time. If you had
100%.
one senior driver in that team, I think that they probably steal 5th. But still, that's another big jump for the sister Red Bull team to move up into 6th place.
Yeah, yeah. For a farm team, essentially, it's a great result still. Yeah,
A farm team that was constantly shipping their best result driver to Red Bull too throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's amazing that they continued to have success even though they were shipping off their most senior driver that just kept stepping through up to Red Bull. So
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they've had a turnstile of drivers over the last 2.5
Mhm.
seasons.
yeah,
Like,
they sure have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aston Martin in 7th.
They got to get
Okay.
rid of Stroll or nothing's going to change.
Nothing's gonna change.
that's how it's gonna be.
Haas in 8th, 79 points, stayed competitive with Aston at 89, and
It's pretty
just
good.
behind them. It's a pretty good result for Haas. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, they just lost out at the end of the year there to Aston, but I think they've got their driver lineup. Pardon me. Kind of solidified for the next few years. Behrman looks like he can be something special,
hmm
and Ocon's there to do what he does. He can build a team. He can lead a team. What is going on with my camera?
I don't know.
That's a
I
good
was going to ask if that was on my end or your end because it was like just flickering a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But while you fiddle with that, to your point, how long will Behrman be there with Hamilton qualifying P18 is another question. So the Haas to Ferrari
Wow.
pipeline is very real. And if next year it goes the same way as this year, I don't see him existing very long.
No, I don't want to spend too much time on our final 2 teams here, but it is a shock to see
Yeah.
Kick Sauber in 9th and Alpine in 10th, and by
Oh.
a long way. Alpine scored 22 points, all scored by Pierre Gasly. Neither of the other 2 drivers scored a single point. But Kick Sauber with Hulkenberg, who joins the team, and they add Bortoletto as a rookie. pretty incredible that they were in the fight at the back end and not way down in the dumps like they were last year and like we all predicted them to be this year.
Hulkenberg pulled some races out of his butt.
Yeah.
Like, nothing unreal throughout the whole season, but there was a couple times there where it was
Except for the
just like-
podium.
well, yeah, but
Except for the
that's
podium.
what I mean. Like
Yeah.
The
it's
Hulken
just like
podium.
for him to take a car that was doing 30-second pit stops every single race the year
Yeah.
I
before
forgot about
and
that.
end up
Yeah.
on a podium. It's like,
Yep.
who is this guy? Where did he
Yeah.
come from? Like, he was out of here. He was done. He was washed up.
he,
Why?
he was out. He's
like-
so old.
and
Yeah.
and to pull a podium on a car that they couldn't even figure out how to get their lugs to go on without stripping the year before, and take it to a podium, hold off Hamilton in a Ferrari,
Hold off Hamilton for that podium.
and
Yeah.
like it's just like, who is this guy?
Silverstone.
He never got his chance. But
Unbelievable,
he's
man.
so good.
Yeah.
No, he's so good.
So good.
He like earned a lot of respect from me. Not that that matters to him at all, but like
Mhm.
he was a guy that like I had no time for, and
Yeah.
this year he really turned my opinion around of him. He's somebody who's like, I'm so excited to see him in this new project next year.
Same.
And
Yeah.
now he got a
I-
trophy that his kids can play with.
Exactly.
He's never going back the way it originally
Yeah.
was. It's just
No.
it's a car right now, or like an airplane or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I just want to say, last year I have the 2024 results out. Alpine came 6th with 65 points.
Yep.
And Kickstabber had 4 in last.
4
4 points. So I'm mad
Huge
respect, Kick.
turnaround. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. 9th is amazing considering what last year was.
And Bortoletto, not too bad, hey?
True.
Not
This feels like another group of rookies, just like the Lando Charles George year, where all
we
of a
are gonna
sudden,
talk about the rookies, yeah.
yeah, it's insane. Yeah,
And that just leaves Alpine in a lowly 10th. Now,
good lord.
I've heard them get some credit put their way for abandoning this car in favor of next year's project pretty much 2-3 races into the year.
Yeah.
If that's true, it makes a lot of sense from what we saw visually
yeah.
out there on the track. That paired with the fact that they had Jack Doohan, who was in an extremely uncomfortable position at the start of the year, knowing that he wasn't going to last the year. Everybody in the world knew that Jack Doohan wasn't going to last more than a few races. I would find it hard to perform if that was me in that position.
Yeah,
Knowing
for sure.
that your shelf life is extremely short.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
And he's broken now. I don't know if you guys are watching what he's doing over in Super Formula, but he's crashed at the same corner 3 days in a row in Super
Oh
Formula
no.
this season, so. Also Suzuka, to be fair, which is his turn 1
Again?
DRS.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
3 more times. So yeah, poor guy
Nice.
Jack, but Suzuka doesn't work for him.
He's out for blood. And then Colapinto is a super sub for Williams last year. Just I'm glad that he's getting a chance to stick with the team and perhaps show next year that he's got some metal to him, because he
Sure.
had nothing going on this year, did he?
He brings the money. He brings the Latin
that
America money.
Argentinian. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. That's about it.
You talked about our cream of rookies, though. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly go through it. Antonelli, obviously in the Mercedes, he finishes 7th. Hadjar in the
Pretty
RB, 11th. Behrman in the Haas, 13th. Lawson, we'll say RB, started the year, 2 races in the Red Bull, finishes 14th. Bortoletto, 19th, and Colapinto dead last, obviously, with no points scored.
The only driver.
What's the biggest surprise on that rookie list?
Oh,
For me,
depends where you ask, right?
Yeah.
Like, at what point of the season, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Colby?
mine would be Behrman. I think there was a lot of hype behind him coming in for Ferrari last year when I believe it was Sainz was having his issues, right? And he came in and he performed really well for them.
Yeah.
I think he showed a lot of promise this year. They obviously were struggling with the car at the start of the season and couldn't really put anything down in terms of having a good setup to let their drivers have a go at it. But
Yeah.
by the end of the season there, Behrman was right in the midst of everything, right? Like he was in places he had no business being in.
No
constantly.
business
Yeah.
being.
and he
Radio
held
messaging, why is this car so good?
Yeah.
and he held it there too, right? Like it wasn't just like he had a fast stint. He continued to be fast throughout the whole end of the season, and I think like him finishing 13th behind Hajar is huge to me because of the struggles that Haas had compared to the exceeding expectations that RB
Yeah.
Visa Cash App had, because the cars were on completely different levels for most of the season, and for Behrman to be that close to Hajar still just shows to me the development throughout the season and his ability to drive a car that isn't the best, right? Like it just, he really surprised me this year.
And my theory on Behrman is last year getting thrust in to an F1 car for the first time at a track that was extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
For him to go out there and perform the way he did, he got rid of all the rookie nerves because he was like, hey,
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think that's a huge benefit to him. Now, my guess here is that Drew's going to pick Hajar as his biggest surprise.
Yes and no. I did want to
Okay.
add also, just because I still
Yeah.
had it out. I have the Singapore standings because that was when
Yeah.
McLaren clinched.
Right.
Behrman was in 19th.
Yep.
He was tied with Bordeaux, but technically lower than him because of placing.
Plays
And
this.
Hajar was in 9th.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. That is exactly to my point. Yeah,
Yes.
Hajar. Initially, I had no hope for him. I was like, oh, whatever. He'll be 15th. I don't really care. Just another rookie I've never heard of. And then the first 5 races, I was all over him. I'm like, yep, Hajar's my new guy. I'm gonna be standing by him for lots of years. This guy's amazing. And he kind of just slowly teetered off as the season went on. And like by the end, I was like, okay, I guess we'll watch this kid kind of fail again. Versus the start of the season where he was just exceeding all expectations. So I'm
Now-
surprised Hajar's 11th personally.
How
should be.
much of that for a rookie is wear? Now, I know we're praising Behrman at the end of the year, but they've
Yeah.
never raced a calendar this size, this
Mhm.
Yeah.
demanding in terms of both races, number of laps and races, strains of a weekend, not to even mention, like media duties and stuff like that. Like it
Yeah.
can really it wears the old guys down. So to be a kid and come into this, I wonder how much that really takes its toll near the end of the year and you're just kind of dragging yourself to the finish line.
I think a lot, right? F2 is what, 7, 8 races or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, to get into that, like, by the end of the year, we were getting Hajar sound bites that sounded like the first year Yuki, just
Yeah.
absolutely raging on the mic. So there's definitely a mental component there, right? So yeah, maybe he's just exhausted and needs a reset and a break, and hopefully comes back a bit more consistent.
Quickly for me, my biggest surprise is Bortoleto. He finishes 19th with 19 points. 19 points is more than I attributed to the entire team of Kick Sauber on the year. So yes, their car overperformed. But I'm still pretty impressed with what he was able to do when the car was there. Because you saw, even with Hulk and his load of points, he didn't score in a lot of races. But when the
Yeah.
car was there, he capitalized. Bortoleto went on a small streak in the middle of the year. It was 3 or 4 races where he was out qualifying Hulk, finishing ahead of him in the race consistently for just a small chunk there to kind of show what he can do. So I'm pretty impressed with him.
Yeah.
None of us picked Antonelli because he's in a Mercedes,
Yes.
and 7th is about where a rookie in a Mercedes, I guess, should be with the year that we saw. But he was a bit of a roller coaster this year.
In true Italian form, I might add.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had his moments of brilliance and then his moments of, wow, yep, that is a 19-year-old in an F1 car.
Right.
So, like, he's where he should be. He shouldn't be lower than 7th. Just by the numbers, if he's lower than 7th, he hasn't done what he needed to do in a Mercedes, and he did that. Could he have done better? Probably. But, when you're that young and you're trying that hard in a top team, I don't blame him
He
at all.
had a lot thrust on him. I mean, let's not even talk about him being Lewis Hamilton's replacement. I mean, that comes
exactly.
with its own thing. You have Toto Wolff in his corner with neon signs saying this kid's it. Like,
Yeah.
that's tough for your own team to be putting that amount of pressure on you as well.
Yeah.
for him to go out and practice last year in Italy in his hometown and to crash, but still get announced on the weekend. Like right from the
Mhm.
get go, it's been a roller coaster for him. He has his highlight in Miami where he qualifies on pole in the sprint. Obviously, the race didn't, or the sprint race didn't go his way, but he's shown some flashes at times this year that he can really be something special. There were again early in the year when the Red Bull wasn't great, but I remember this battle with Max and the commentators and us going, oh, I don't think Max saw that coming from this kid. Like, um,
True.
so again, I hope it's just a bit of the wear, and then maybe that summer break and the second summer break helped him out because the middle of the season for him was a disaster.
Yeah, he got into some dark places there for a few
He did.
races.
So thank goodness he was able to bounce back because he had a half decent end to the year.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so all that talk, we've gone through all three of us. We've each picked one driver who is, in our opinion, underperformed and one driver who is overperformed. We're going to start with the overperformers. Okay, we're going to do this one at a time. I'll go first.
Sounds wonderful.
My overperformer of the year is Nico Hulkenberg, and I don't need to say much more about
No.
that because we've talked about him a fair bit. So impressive and happy for him to see him finally, the cursed man, get his first podium in F1.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
To do it the way he did it, to hold off superstar Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone,
At Silverstone. Yeah.
survive
Awesome.
that pressure, take his podium, and
Which is absolutely
I-
crushing as a Hamilton fan.
yeah, yes it is.
By
but-
the
So
way.
depressing.
And I want to attribute a lot of Kick's turnaround to Nico. Right, they signed him in the off season. The guy's been around for a generation. I think he knows how to build a car,
Yeah.
how to work a setup.
Yeah.
And we can probably attribute some of Bortoletto's success to having him at his side as well. So
Unquestionably. Yeah.
Hulkenberg by far and away blew away the expectations I had for him this year.
Yeah.
I hope he sticks around a bit longer, but you never
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Okay, I'll go next. Mine is Behrman. I kind of already alluded to it in the rookie one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, just the progression throughout the season and watching him slowly work his way up the leaderboard, not only in qualifying but also in race results. Like he had quite a few DNFs on the year and still managed to pull off a pretty decent point total for a driver on Haas, right? Like he finished I can't remember what race it was, but he finished in 6th in one of the last, I think it was Brazil, right? He finished in 6th.
Yeah.
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 And like
Yeah.
Yes, because the last year his Brazilian race was a disaster.
yeah.
Worse than bad. Like
Yeah. So like for him to finish in 6th on a track that's not very conducive to passing, that's not that's like it's very driven by your ability to have a good strategy and your ability to pull it off. I think just watching his progression throughout the season was very cool for me, and I think that he pulled off some races that no one would have expected out of any Haas driver, let alone a rookie. So
Undoubtedly. Yeah. No, that's fair. Oh, Colby, I saved this just for you, man.
I'm so depressed by looking at this on the notes.
My overperformer. We haven't talked about him that much, thank God.
Nope. Not yet.
George
Just wait.
Russell. Oh, what a year for George Russell. Golf clap for that man. 9 podiums, 2 wins in a car that, yeah, like we said, is there sometimes, there's some other times, but the consistency of that man. Oh,
Just
what a year.
P4 merchant.
P4 merchant.
Just spawning.
Yeah, he was untouchable in Canada, which was annoying because Cole and I went to that race and we watched McLaren not win for the first time that season. You know, Singapore is not an easy track, and that's one that literally almost killed George in years prior, and dominated there. Like, this guy proved McLaren wasn't invincible, and it ended up making it a good season, all because of sweet, sweet George Russell. He did absolutely everything he could with that car, literally every race weekend, and I stand by that. So, yeah. Thoughts, Colby?
George is stupid.
I'm going to touch on George a little bit more as we keep going. I've been saving that. I've got
Yeah.
so much pent up excitement there. But we're gonna mix up the order. I need Colby to do his underperformer first, so that we can go back to back here.
Mine was Lewis Hamilton, and it's probably the most obvious underperformer of the year. There was a lot of hype that went into him signing with Ferrari, and it was very scary as a Hamilton fan hearing that he signed with Ferrari, because there was the brought on optimism of watching Ferrari kind of challenge the faster two teams last year, and kind of really holding on to hope that they were going to get their car right enough that Lewis could hop in it and be fast, and it just didn't happen. I mean, he did get the only win for Ferrari on the year in the
Doesn't count.
China Sprint, which
In the
it
China
totally
Sprint. I'm
does count,
counting.
but
Count.
I don't
Ferrari
count
needs
sprint.
something.
yeah,
Here's your bone,
And
Ferrari.
it totally does count in my opinion, because it wasn't even like it was close either. Like, he drove
No, he
a great
dominated
race.
that sprint.
Like, it
He
was
did.
it was a great race.
did.
Yes, he crumbled in the actual race, but and then on for the rest of the season, it progressively worse
Yep.
as the races went on. But yeah, I think that's a man that, if, in my opinion, if he wants to keep racing, if he's still got passion for racing, I think F1 isn't the place for him to maybe do it anymore. I think maybe he signs with a hypercar team in the WEC, or he goes to some other series. I think he could still dominate his stints in other racing series and stuff if he's doing it on a team or as a solo driver in a different series. I think that he would still excel. I just think his mental state is not there for F1 anymore. I think when you're matched up against, I'm going to say 18 of the best drivers in the world, Stroll.
Barring Lance Stroll.
Yeah, barring Lance Stroll.
That's tough.
I think this...
It's not like he's last.
No, but I don't think he's the best in the world.
No.
But I think Hamilton still has the skill. I think he's letting the mental games kind of just progressively worsen him as he goes on, and I think a refresh in a different series might do it for him if he still has passion for racing. But I mean, he's done more than anyone could ever hope to do in racing, right? So I mean, that's just some bald 30-year-old dude's opinion in Canada. So I mean, I'm nobody to tell him what to do or anything, but that's my opinion on the matter, and I'd love to see him turn it around and maybe have some more success, but I think in order to do that, he's going to need a real good therapist, because he is depressed.
Right? And obviously, it's not going to get better, Ferrari. I have zero faith in it getting better. It's not like he goes back to Mercedes.
No.
So unless Red Bull throws him a bone, he doesn't have any more options in F1. Yeah. So if he wants to keep racing, it's a
lot of tinfoil hat theories coming out after the end of the season as to what happened with Hamilton, the way he was treated in the garage, the way he was ignored in the garage, the way his feedback was thrown out the window. I hope it's not true, because he's earned every drop of respect in the sport. Yeah, but
I think it might be, though, because there's clips of his finishing radio message that he did. Yeah. At the end of the finale there, the last race, he said, "Thanks for the year, guys. Great job." The traditional end of the year statement, kind of ended it with a bit of optimism, even though he's ready to just hang him up. And he had to double check that his radio was coming through, because just no one responded. And the answer that he got after he double checked was, "Oh, sorry, we were talking here." And it's like, What your job is to talk to this guy, and he's thanking you for the season, and he has to double check, and your excuse is you were talking to other people in the garage. There's just
If I got that at
I
my job, I would lose it. If I
yeah.
got that as a 7-time world, like you're the best that's ever been in the sport, and you can't even
Yeah,
get your
literally.
mechanic, your engineer to listen to you, like that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know. My tinfoil hat's fully on for that one. I think there's been
Yeah.
some crappy stuff going on there, and like I alluded to, like his mental state, I don't believe is just the lack of success, right? Like he's had lack of success in Mercedes, but you haven't seen him be as low as he is now, so there's got to be some more external factors going on there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not to add to the Hamilton bashing, but just a stat that is true and out there is he was the third biggest teammate gap on the grid,
Yeah.
90 some odd points behind Leclerc.
Yeah.
That
Oof.
shouldn't happen in a Ferrari.
Nope. No, regardless, it doesn't matter if you lose Hamilton or someone else. You need to be
Yeah.
closer to your teammate than that.
Um,
So, yeah.
So the reason we had Colby go first is because Drew and I kind of had to battle for our biggest underperformers. We had the same person, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
first. I'll explain why, and then you can chime in before you give me yours. So
Valid.
I'm gonna start with the positive though. So my underperformer ultimately is Oscar Piastri. At the same time, I'm gonna recognize it's only his third year in the sport.
Yeah.
He was leading the championship for a good portion of the year. Nobody really put him up there. He was doing incredible things, Mr. Consistency, at the beginning of the year, and it looked like it was his. But that's why he is my biggest underperformer of the year. The championship was fully in his bag. He had more than a 2 race win gap to Lando.
Yep.
And Max Verstappen was more than 100 points behind him.
Yep.
And Max finished second and Oscar finished third.
It's crazy. How is he
That
not
is
second?
so unacceptable to me. I don't
Yeah.
care what you're battling through in the middle of the year. Like, you got to find a way to dig out of that when you are contending, right?
Yeah.
I'll reserve some judgment to see how he does next year, and if he's in a similar position, if he can hold on to it. But that is the biggest choke job in any of my sport history that I have witnessed. To
Leafs
have
fan.
that, even that, like the size of the gap to your teammate and then to
Yeah.
Max, it was
Unreal.
insurmountable. It should have been
Unreal.
insurmountable. There
Yep.
is no
Yep.
good reason that Max finished second and Oscar finished third.
Mhm.
And it's entirely by his own doing.
Oh, yeah.
Entirely.
Completely
You can
self-inflicted.
talk about, and we'll touch on a bit, the driver swap in Monza, and a lot of people are pointing to after that moment, Oscar's racecraft like fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Pretty
that's the case, that can't happen. One
No.
little moment like that can't have that be the result. So
Yeah. After 10 races of dominance, like, yeah, that
can't
shouldn't
happen,
be it.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. But that's my piece on Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously that was going to be my biggest underperformer as well for exactly the same reasons. Like, I mean, I'm personally not of the opinion that 3 seasons in F1 is a small amount anymore, given how young everyone is getting. 3, like we're not saying this next year. There's no more excuses for him next year. He's a part of the sport. He's
Well,
in it.
and not after being in the fight. Like, Lando didn't get that excuse this year. Lando was in the fight last year.
Yeah,
He had to learn how to be in the fight,
totally.
and this year he got the job done. So
Yeah.
that's not an excuse for Oscar next year. I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're here. You've shown you can perform this way. If you're not gonna be consistent, then that's just who you are as a driver at this point. It's got nothing to do with experience. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate. I'd fully resigned to Oscar being the champion way before the season was over, and here we are. Here we are, baby. So, yeah. But my runner-up underperformer, another guy have we even mentioned his name in the whole
No,
podcast?
we really haven't.
Which it just goes to show just how terrible of a year he had. My boy Yuki Tsunoda. Good lord. You guys will remember. I had full
Vividly.
faith in Yuki Tsunoda going into Suzuka weekend, his home race, and I was ready for him to just be close to Max, if not beat Max right off the bat. I don't know why I was that confident, but you expected something from him. And that was probably the worst F1 prediction I've ever made in my life. was banking on Yuki Tsunoda. I bet my fantasy on this guy. I was all in on him, and he was nowhere. Like, since Ricardo's fall from grace and the whole curse of the second Red Bull seat began, that is the worst any driver's done out of all of them, all 6, 7 of them.
22
Lord.
races and 33 points.
Good Lord, Yuki, how is this possible? You
No,
are
no
not a rookie.
podiums. No podiums.
Yeah. This guy, he's not a veteran, but he's staunchly in the middle of the field in terms of age and experience. And like, you did worse than rookies who've never driven an F1 car before. What's going on? I get where like this is the late stage capitalism version of it being Max's car and Max's car only.
Yeah.
But like, how? Just
Yeah.
how? I'm so sad. I understand why he doesn't have a seat anymore because he
It ended
tanked
his career. Yep.
He literally tanked his career in less than a season. But I get it. Like, I wouldn't hire that guy after watching that. That was just too much. But he did great. He was good in the RB. He was beating whoever else was in the RB at the time. And like, you know, he's looked good
Hadjar
the
to
past couple
start.
years. Yeah, he was
Awesome
beating
last
Hadjar.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sad to see Yuki go, but it's clearly his time because that was just not it.
Yeah. Yuki
At
just
all.
doesn't fit anywhere, right? Red Bull
Nope.
wants RB to be that farm feeder team that we talked about. Yuki's too old, too experienced for that role, and he just doesn't fit anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, he doesn't bring enough. I don't think he brings enough of that kind of, you know, that Hulkenberg vibe of like, hey, I can help you develop your team. He's nowhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, tragic, but
Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to run through a couple of stats here to wrap up the season. Then we're going to talk about some of those predictions that we had. So first off, George and Max tied for the highest point scoring percentage on the year. Each of them only missed points in one race.
I don't like this stat.
Nope.
I don't think this is a fair stat. No,
Okay.
no, because Lando's engine exploded in Zandvoort.
Yes, but it's a team sport, as you reminded us. So
All right,
it's going to
fair
count
enough.
against
Touche.
them. I was ready for that one. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's not necessarily anything huge to celebrate. It's just the consistency of those two drivers. You touched
Yeah.
on it with Russell being thereabouts
The
all year,
best.
and Max just being the incredible driver that he is in some races when he probably shouldn't have scored points. He
Nope.
did. So
Absurd.
Starting
incredible-
from pit lane.
starting
Yeah.
from pit lane.
Oh. And we were
wasn't the
concerned
race he
was
missed
gonna
points
win.
in.
And he's on the
Yes.
podium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So to tie this in, the one race he missed points in was in Austria when Kimi Antonelli rear-ended him to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the
Torpedoed him. Yeah.
the reason that's important, obviously, to tie this back is Max lost the championship by
2
2
points.
points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kimi Antonelli took him out in Austria.
Yeah.
There's points there. Secondly, there's that race in Barcelona, which I'm going to touch on again a little bit later, when Max went full Red Hulk mode
Yes.
and decided to take some penalties.
Yeah.
And then there's the big one, the much maligned decision, the hugest talking point for a good chunk of the year is McLaren and the Monza swap. Those points just won Lando a championship.
It's true. It's true.
2 points.
Yeah.
2 points he won by, and that swap in Monza won him the championship.
Yeah.
A lot of things won him that championship.
Yep.
You know, this is one of the things.
Yeah.
You can say, "Oh, well, this crushed Oscar's spirit." That's his fault.
That's Oscar's
I-
own fault. Yep.
I'm clearly slightly biased. But I still stand by, if you are papaya rulesing, I hate the decision. But if you're
Yes.
going to be consistent, this is what happens. Like, you did this, like, yeah,
100%. They set
I'm so
themselves
mad.
up for
They
the
set
scrutiny
themselves
of
up.
it.
yes. Yeah, and now
what
we're sitting here
really
saying this.
pisses me off is they can lean back and say, "See, told you guys."
Yeah. Look how fair
That-
we were. It all
That
worked
decision
out.
mathematically can directly have won us the championship.
Yeah,
And that
and
annoys me
the
to no end.
the more annoying part of that too is it didn't even win them the championship over Oscar. It actually defended their championship against Max, right? Like it
Yeah.
it would have been one thing, it would have actually been even worse if Lando won by that margin over
The
Oscar.
Oscar. Yeah.
But the most annoying part of that to me is that it actually won them a championship over Max on a different team. So it's like actually a legitimate argument that can be made now that saved their year. But at that point, I don't think anyone even thought Max was going to be close by the end of the
No,
year,
of
right?
course
So
not. Of course
to
not.
me, it still stands as like a what the hell are you doing moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the argument is totally legitimate now too that it did
Yeah.
win them a championship. So
I mean, even then, it was they were only in that position because I didn't put this anywhere on the screen, but I should rant about the fact that it was because of their pit stop strategy that they were
Yeah.
even in that situation.
yeah,
They tanked Lando and they had to claw it back because they're so incompetent when it comes to pitting too fast cars.
yep.
Yes.
Like it's a castle. It's just they built up mistake on mistake on mistake on mistake. They won.
to made it as
Thank
ugly
God.
as possible, though.
But as ugly as physically possible without
Yeah.
straight up shooting out Oscar's tires at one point. To,
On the way
make
by
sure-
the
Yes,
Tuscan Raiders were
exactly.
hooting and hollering.
It's so frustrating to watch. It's so hard to watch.
So I'm going to end our season recap with a 3-sentence statement, and then you can tell me what you think about it. Okay? Max deserved to win the championship. Oscar should have won the championship, but Lando did win the championship.
No notes.
Stunned silence.
No notes on that. Completely agree.
I do agree
Yeah.
too. And I'm very actually frustrated by that statement and with how true it is. Because it's to
I've
me,
been
you
sitting
guys
on that one for a week.
when you were touching on your stolen disappointing driver of the year, you guys said like Oscar doesn't get those excuses next year because now he's a senior driver. He's been in this for long enough to know better. He can do it. Lando, yes, he had a Zandvoort DNF that was out of his control, but he just about lost the championship, and it could have come down to him driving into the rear end of his teammate. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's
Lando
another one.
has been in this league
True.
for how long now, and he has been a consistent guy that's been up there in the mix, but is inconsistent and has at times made mistakes that cost him the championship throughout his career, right?
Yeah.
And we're still kind of making those excuses for him. And I feel like it got overlooked this year because he ended up winning the championship, but he still did make a lot of mistakes. Like, yes, McLaren had
yes,
a lot
early
of
too.
issues with prioritizing, and not even just prioritizing, but with messing up each driver depending on the weekend and all of that works into this. But Lando still did make a lot of mistakes. Like, as much as it pains me to say it, and it's highlighted in that scoring percentage, like, and you tried to make the argument like he had a DNF in Zandvoort, right, that affected that, but Max also didn't score points in that one race because of something he couldn't
'Cause of
control
Kimi.
too, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
still more
So easily could have won. Yeah.
yeah, so he still has a higher scoring percentage, and that one race that he didn't score points was out of
Wasn't
his
his fault.
control.
That's
So-
unbelievable.
So to me, like it's hard to look at Oscar as a driver who underperformed. Yes, I think he did. I would agree that he underperformed. I think for me it was the middle of the season mental lapse where he could not get out of that dry spell and couldn't get it out. That was the part that got it for me. It wasn't necessarily mistakes he was making. It was just a lack of being in the mix. Whereas Lando is still making, yes, they've lessened a lot over the years, but he's still making crucial mistakes that are costing him nearly championships. Like, he won by 2 points over a guy in a car where their teammate couldn't be in the top 10.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fact check you, but I want to clarify because I'm pretty sure the one race Max didn't get points was Barcelona when he decided to come.
No,
to Calgary.
Austria.
He
when Kimi took
DNF'd
him
when
out.
Kimi crashed into him because he lost a wheel.
Yeah, but he
he-
lost
he-
those points because of the penalty in Spain. No.
No.
No,
So
he didn't
only
miss out on
didn't
points
score.
in that race.
Yeah, he still scored. He was like 9th or 10th. He
Yeah.
still scored points in Barcelona.
That's crazy. I'm
Yeah.
pulling. I'm
Yeah.
Jamieing this. I gotta pull
Yeah,
up Barcelona now.
because him and Kimi were both out of the race after Kimi crashed
Yeah.
into him, because I think they both
He
lost
came
a wheel.
10th.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah,
1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he scored.
So
But,
I just, yeah, I have a hard time with that kind of scrutiny over Oscar not getting those
But
excuses anymore
hence-
when the favorite driver of McLaren, and it's very obvious the favorite driver to me, even though they don't favor him strategy wise. You watch the post races and the way that Brown
Zach Brown.
approaches Lando and approaches Oscar are on
Zach Brown
completely different sides of
has
the
a favorite.
spectrum.
Zach Brown
100%.
has a favorite. I think the rest of the team is just incompetent, but Zach Brown unquestionably has a favorite. No,
But I
Yeah.
think that favoritism, because of the incompetence on the rest of the team, that favoritism is what eventually plays out,
probably.
right? And I think that a lot of their issues with being able to prioritize a driver probably came from those scrutinies, right? Like they didn't want to be the team that had a golden boy and then another amazing driver that they just put on the shelf, right? Like, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I completely backtracked in our thoughts here, but I just had to say that because I just had a hard time with that one because it's tough.
No, it's true, and you 100% just backed my second statement there that Max deserved the win,
Yeah.
the championship.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying necessarily to take anything away from Lando because yes,
No.
last year he was like he crumbled at
Mhm.
times last year. Even got worried this year in Qatar. At times it was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
is this falling off of a cliff?
Yeah.
But I personally have huge props for Lando this year because I was hard on him last year, and he corrected a lot of his mistakes from last year.
Yes, he did.
The start of the year, it worked out the best for Lando with his slow start and Oscar's high start.
Mhm.
You know, Lando was able to get rid of all those nerves, all those what ifs, and just focus on driving. And Oscar crumbled, so
True.
it worked out for him. But
Oh yeah, and
That's
same with me. Like I sound very hard on Lando. But I am a big Lando fan. I think he's awesome. I find him hilarious. I think he's a great guy. I think that he did what he needed to do to win the championship, but it is very frustrating to me with how much I agree with those 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I wanted Lando to win because Lando fixed everything that he
Yeah.
had going wrong for
Yeah.
him, right? And I don't necessarily think that this win exemplifies that he fixed everything. I think this win just kind of happened to line up for him, and I don't know. I've always been a fairly competitive guy, and I've never wanted to win something just because I ended up being in the right place at the right time. I get that that's how that
We
works a lot in
talked
life.
about that in the World Series though with the Jays. You know, there was that review
Yeah.
at the plate. Like, I don't want to win a World Series off
Yeah.
a video review of a missed call at a plate.
That's valid.
Don't want it. I want to earn that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
Like, poorly, I
yeah.
should have taken the gamble at the plate,
Yeah.
but
probably.
Yeah. So it frustrates me because I am a Lando fan. I just want him to be the best Lando that I think
I want him to
Lando can
dominate
be, right?
if you're going to
Like,
win, right?
Yeah.
I want that Max Verstappen year,
Yeah.
right? Payback. No, I don't. I love the excitement. It was
Yeah,
close.
it is.
I was gonna
good.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
And pre Lewis Hamilton, it had been a long time. It was in between Schumacher and Hamilton. It was guys stealing points off each other, and it was being
Right.
very close the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in an era of a lot of dominance, but this is often how it's won, right?
Yep. That's fair.
So
Yep. Very
Still
fair.
it is.
I am going to now. I'm going to just quickly recap the top 10, and then we're going to read through our predictions because we've said many times on this podcast, don't listen to us in terms of predictions or betting advice because, well, you're about to find out why. So, to remind everybody, your top 10 drivers were Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, Antonelli, Albon, Sainz, and Alonso. So
Mhm.
we made these predictions before the year started. Important to note. Okay. So Colby, why don't you start with your top 10 drivers?
Okay, my top 10 drivers listed out are Lando Norris, Leclerc, Max, Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, Lawson, shut up, Antonelli, Behrman.
Which, in the end, honestly, not too bad. You were the second best in terms of our little internal scoring
I-
But a
system there.
long ways off of
Your
Drew.
your top 5 starts out so great is the thing, which I get it's easier to predict up there,
Yeah.
but it's just your bottom half just got wildly inconsistent, and I don't
sure
blame
did.
you because
Yeah.
it was a closer midfield this year. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So Drew, your top 10 drivers.
Yeah, so I banked on Max first. Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Lawson, Antonelli, Sainz, Albon. So
Which,
yeah,
in terms of our little internal scoring system, which I won't get into, you crushed us in terms
By a
of
fair bit.
Yeah.
the top 10 drivers.
Yeah, aside from my
mine
dark
was-
horse Lawson.
Yeah, which you'll see really screwed me
That's-
because everybody else I was really close. But I went Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, Lawson, Hamilton, Sainz, Antonelli, and Behrman.
Yeah,
So that put me in dead last coming out of the driver's prediction.
yeah.
Can I redeem myself in the team prediction? Well, let's see. McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, Williams, RB, Aston, Haas, Kick, and Alpine. Colby, you were?
I was McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Williams, Haas, Aston, Racing Bulls, Alpine, Kick. Yeah.
Which was the best of us.
Really
Yeah.
good,
Far and away.
actually. Yeah.
You clawed some points back there.
Yep.
And
And
Yeah.
still
what I'm
lost.
really impressed with is your Aston in 7th. Maybe
Yeah,
it's sheer
agreed.
dumb luck. Maybe it's some great insight, but that's a big one. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I held on to the way that they started their seasons the last couple of years, and it was enough of an early season success to kind of place them in a decent spot, right? So that's where they landed there for me.
Yeah.
Next.
I had McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Williams, Haas, Alpine, Womp Womp, Aston, Racing Bulls, Kick. And
At
yeah,
the bottom.
Alpine
And it-
screwed me.
And it only gets worse from me here on out. McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Williams, Haas, Racing Bulls, Aston Martin, Alpine, and Kick.
Yeah.
I come in 3 of 3 in bronze. Colby takes the silver and Drew the gold by some margin in terms
Yeah.
of our early predictions.
Yeah.
only
Which are
thing
based
I
on
mo-
nothing.
Yes, literally vibes.
Yeah.
Just
Vibes.
vibes. Yeah.
Before preseason testing even.
Yeah.
Just throw it out there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to note on there for the teams, we all picked McLaren first.
Yep.
We all picked Williams 5th, which
Yeah.
both of those came true.
Yeah.
True.
So
Pretty
props
good.
to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all put Kick Sauber dead last.
Yeah.
No faith. You can't blame anyone. I'm sure
None.
every single person did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
No. Luckily, our fantasy league held a few more people and was much more exciting. You know, there was 3 of us who in the last 5 races flip-flopped 1, 2, 3, and it like the real race came down to the final weekend.
yeah.
And
Thank
one of
God I
those
was able
3
to-
was not me.
It was not. You were well out of that
You
one. by
were
the
not
end,
there.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was able to claw some of my dignity back. I did end up winning our fantasy league. Thank you very much. So, yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Next year's
I'm
my
not
year.
gonna lie to
Colby
you.
won the year before.
Yeah, I
That's
did
right,
win
yeah.
the year before. That's
you
right.
did win the year before.
Yeah.
Great
Did not.
success.
If we're going by history, I'm about to have a god awful year next year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Drew, I don't actually remember. Did you end up second or third to Joel?
I came
don't
second.
remember.
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of that.
Which
That means
actually
you were
amazes
runner up
me.
2 years in a row.
I
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
And Joel had a
Yes.
big lead too. Like he was
Yes.
ahead of you guys by a lot at the midpoint of the season.
The McLaren DSQ netted me like 300 point spread. So
yeah,
yeah, I was way out of it.
yeah, that's fair.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll do that one again next year. I wasn't super into that predictions one. But,
Yeah.
about 6 races in, I gave up on the predictions, but happy there. Now, it wouldn't be an Angry Dudes podcast without picking our dumbest moments. So we're gonna pick from the whole F1 calendar our dumbest moments of the year, and we're gonna go guests first. Drew, what's your dumbest moment of the year?
Oh, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it is unquestionably, undoubtedly, the most dumb thing we witnessed this year, and unfortunately we had to witness it all year, which is McLaren's #1 driver rule. No more needs
Lack
to be
thereof.
said. Dear Lord, please stop. Make a driver worse next year. I can't watch that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was painful. Colby?
Yeah.
Mine was doing leaving his DRS open going through a corner because it worked out in a sim. That's
He
my
tried the
favorite part.
sim.
That's
He
my
tried the
favorite
sim,
part
man.
is that he related it to a sim because that would be
Max
something
Verstappen does it.
that would be something I would do. I'd hop on and pick the 350Z and go for a drift session in my sim,
Yep.
and then I'd go into real life and think that I could do the exact same thing and end up like on the roof. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
dumbest
so for
moment,
context,
but very relatable.
that was in Japan, free
Sure was.
practice session.
Yeah.
Decided to leave the DRS open going into the first corner, which is a heavy corner,
Yeah.
Very.
and registered what I believe ended up being the most significant crash of the year in terms of G-force.
It's
It
him and
wasn't.
Bortoletto
It
were
might
up
have been
there, yeah.
second. Yeah, Bortoletto
Yeah.
had a nasty one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bortoletto
well, so.
tried to kill himself. But yeah, doing that was some next level. You gotta hand it to him. Like a
Is
couple
it
drivers in
balls
the
or
interviews
is
are
it
like,
stupidity?
wow.
Because yeah,
It's a fine line.
It's got to be
but
both, yeah.
He knew to some level he knew what he was doing. He knew what he
Yeah.
was getting into trying it, so you have to respect that, I think.
yeah,
Dumb enough to try it, balls enough to pull it off.
yeah.
To the wall.
My dumbest moment of the year, which I briefly talked about, was Max Verstappen in Spain. For what I still can't pinpoint as a legitimate reason, decided
There
to
is none.
T-bone Russell in corner
I
There
can,
is
I'd
none.
do it.
for absolutely like no reason. Like his team was having a rough day. The strategy was off. He was losing positions.
Yep.
But he was still like what, fourth, fifth?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, solid points haul.
Yep.
No prior contact, no prior issues between the two. They've had their history in years prior, but like literally nothing leading up to this. George Russell's passing him, and Max decided to just fully drive into the side of him for no good reason. I'm
Yeah.
to this day shocked that Verstappen didn't get a heftier penalty. He got a minor
you.
slap on the wrist.
Thank you.
He wasn't disqualified from the race. No black flag.
How?
God's favorite child in that sport can get away with actual attempted murder.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was at those speeds.
Yeah.
And he gets
I'm
away with it.
like, no, none of us have witnessed a driver in F1 purposefully take out another driver. Well, you can talk about Gasly and Ocon in Monaco, but that was kind of stupidity. That was
Yes.
also at 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So, like, this was just blatant, just violence. He said, I'm just going to take this guy out. I don't care what happens to us in this situation, which is crazy. This is his 11th year in the sport. Like, so much better as a
Multiple
human being
world
and as a
champion,
driver.
the best
Multiple world
driver on the
champion.
grid.
What are we doing?
And again, we can sort of pinpoint it. He drops from whatever, fourth, fifth with his penalty to 10th
At
and
10th?
loses a championship by 2 points.
Yeah. So
Oh man, that would sting. Because
I
that
hope
one
he feels it.
was so dumb.
I don't think he
he
feels
needed a
it at
punishment.
all. I don't
That's
think
the
he
worst
gives
part.
a crap.
That is the worst part, is that he doesn't care.
He probably stands by, like, I make jokes, but don't get me wrong, I realize that it's blatantly just violence. Like it's
wrong.
there's no space for it in any
No.
sport, in my opinion, and you see it happen in every sport from time to time, and the repercussions are generally fairly felt, right? Like Todd Bertuzzi, he's gone.
Mhm.
Get him out.
Yeah.
Don't want him. I get that that's a bit different
Zinedine
because the
Zidane.
outcome was a little different in terms of bodily harm. Whereas but the potential was there, right? And that's
Yeah.
gross
Yeah.
to me. Like, but
That's
yeah,
what the
I
stewards
don't
do, though. It's all based on result, right?
yeah, exactly.
What happened to him? What happened to George?
Which is,
oh,
which
that's
is
how we'll...
so annoying, right? No
So
intent,
frustrating.
because he didn't even try and make it look like an accident.
No,
Nope.
no,
Not
he
even a
sure
It was
didn't.
100% and entirely
He
intentional.
wanted George to know. Like, he wanted George to know, and George watched that replay after the race. He wanted him to know.
I did that
I
on
did that
purpose."
on purpose because I knew it was you and I wanted to.
Oh,
Like,
it's crazy.
It's pretty.
It's crazy.
pretty nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to wrap it up for the 2025 season. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to quickly touch on a couple of things for the 2026 season, because there's actually a lot of excitement going into this.
Oh, yeah.
new regulations, new rules, new car. But beyond all that, you have Cadillac joining the grid, and not just taking over a team as a new. They're an entirely new outfit, expanding the grid to 22 drivers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have not watched F1 at any period where there was more than 20 cars on track.
None of us have. Yeah.
So
It's gonna be great.
it is now. There's
Monaco's gonna suck.
yeah, some being made about okay, the cars are fractionally smaller, but they can barely fit the 20 that are out there
Oh,
now.
oh. Have we confirmed, or is it the old school rules? Because we used to have 22 cars and 24 sometimes, but only 20 cars qualify for the race.
I don't
Is
believe
that how
that's
we're
the
doing it now?
case.
No, it's
No,
not
I-
because
yeah.
they released that qualifying's changing to add an additional 2 drivers per step. I believe,
I
right?
wanted to see 2 guys not run the race.
Like they-
I'm honestly not sure. I didn't read into any of the rules because I couldn't
Yeah,
decipher what
they-
was true and what wasn't.
yeah,
yeah,
that's the other
They
thing.
confirmed
Yeah.
how
But-
qualifying was going to work, and it included all 22.
Well, quali should, but that's how it always was.
No, but I mean, like going into the race, it didn't
Okay,
have any
interesting.
cutout where 2
You're gonna be
cars
classified
didn't
as
get to
22nd
start
on the
kind of
grid.
thing. Yeah,
I'm annoyed by that. I don't want 22 cars on the grid.
I do.
That's-
Bring on the chaos.
Turn
Also, I
one
don't care for either of those drivers.
is going to be a nightmare.
It's
Yep,
gonna be
for
so
sure.
good.
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you talk about the 2 drivers. So Valtteri Bottas makes his return. Sergio Perez makes his return. I am happy for the reason that, and myself included, I'm guilty. The world was way too hard on Sergio Perez, seeing
Yes.
what's happened with the drivers after him.
For sure they were.
That
Yeah.
man deserves redemption. I'm happy he's going to get an opportunity for it because, and he had his fun at the end of the year with a little tweet and a jab at Sonoda not being able to hold Lando up like he could
Yes.
Hamilton for Max's first title. So he's
Yes.
having some fun with it. But I am happy to see him back on the grid because he was unceremoniously basically booed off stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got to a point where like he just can't be here
Yeah.
anymore.
He won races in that Red Bull.
Yeah.
He won
Oh,
races
yeah.
in a Red Bull.
And still, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We treated him too harshly. But despite all that, like that driver pairing is the equivalent of beige paint in Formula One.
Yep. Yeah.
I just think they're incredibly boring.
You
I mean,
guys
Bottas-
praise George Russell for being beige paint.
No.
Beige
George
paint
Russell
with a
bring-
hint of blue because he
Wringing the
cries
neck out
all
of
the
a-
time.
out of a
That's
car
right.
that doesn't belong there.
He's outstanding.
That's so
Um,
untrue.
Yeah.
Well, he also beat Hamilton 2 years in a row, but
Yeah. True that.
Audi-
Bottas never did that.
yeah, Audi is coming in, taking over for that kick project.
End of Sauber.
End of Sauber. That's some much needed cash infusion.
Yeah.
Facilities.
Yeah.
And now a driver lineup that looks like it might actually be able to do some damage in the midfield. So
I hope so. Yeah.
I-
Let's have some German baddies back on the grid.
I was
Let's
about
go.
to say, beyond
Yeah.
all that too, there's the whole Audi Mercedes little
Yeah.
German battle.
Let's go. So down.
Ford is coming in as an engine supplier for the Red Bull outfit.
Sure.
This could be what removes Max Verstappen from the sport, in my opinion. I don't
Potentially.
have any faith in a Ford engine. Sorry, I don't.
There was like the Cosworth days and everything, and stuff, but
Those
it's been
are
about
long gone.
30 years of EcoBoost in between there.
Ford
so-
versus Ferrari was a long time
Yes,
ago.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the Shelby
I
and the
don't see this
Cosworth
working out.
eras were great. We are
Yeah.
far removed from those, that's for sure.
Yes. Yeah. But I also, the engines are such a wild card because no one knows how to work with these new electric systems. So
Yes.
who knows? We have no clue, right? So
Speaking of no clue, and in the same situation as Honda moving over to Aston Martin.
crazy.
Honda, Adrian Newey,
Yeah.
Alonso,
Yeah.
all the parts are there.
Oh yeah, all the parts of Red Bull. Like this was just the plan.
All the parts are
So-
there except for one really stinky, rotting part.
And his
Yes.
son.
That if
So-
if 2 of the 3 of us get murdered before this podcast comes
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
We
yeah,
know
yeah,
why.
yeah, the Canadian mob.
the
visited our
Montreal guys are
doors.
coming for us.
uh,
No, that's Lance Stroll's superpower. He doesn't give a flying F what anybody says or thinks about him, clearly. So
Nope.
Good for
must
him.
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Right? Just you do you, man. I'm waiting for him to take up, like, I don't know, sailing or knitting or something, and this to not be his focus anymore because he can do whatever he
Knitting.
wants.
Knitting,
So
he
like,
can't knit with those wrists that he had repaired
Well,
from his
that's true.
bicycle accident.
that's the fastest he ever drove. Break his wrists again.
Yeah.
I can't
Uh,
with Lance.
Nope.
some late news on the year, but some pretty big news is that Toyota is coming in as the title sponsor for Haas.
Yeah.
That's
Sick.
big for a team that kind of figured it out towards the end of the year. Again, has a pretty decent driver lineup, but has never had cash.
Mm-hmm.
Has
Nope.
never had big financial support. Has barely has anything in terms of facilities. So for Toyota to come in as a title sponsor is huge at Haas.
Well,
Yeah.
Toyota has a lot of success too in a lot of racing series,
Racing
right? Like you
series,
look at
yeah.
WEC and they've been at the top of the like podiums and top of the championships for a few
Yeah.
years running now
Yeah.
here. So hopefully they can kind of translate that into F1 and make it all exciting.
This time, Toyota and Honda have both tried and miserably failed
Yeah.
True.
in F1. But they're all coming in. All of these sponsors and support groups are coming in at the time of new rules, new car. It's going to make next year extremely exciting because of how unpredictable it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No way.
We're
no
still
idea.
gonna try though.
Yeah,
We're going to try.
Put our predictions in. Yeah.
Before we do that quickly, I do want to talk about the fact that Helmut Marko is finally on his way out of Red Bull.
Bye.
He finally
Yeah.
said his last stupid thing. He finally got
Did his last stupid thing,
stupid enough
signing
to
Arvin
say goodbye.
Lindblad with no communication, no approval, no nothing, just out there doing what he wants. There's no more racist comments towards his Mexican drivers. There's
Just
no
wait.
more. Yeah.
I
There's
think I have a
just
theory
wait.
now that he's
Yeah.
going to be fully unhinged because he can't get fired now.
Yeah, there's
Just
no
wait and watch his Twitter
affiliation.
now as an
Yeah.
independent.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Maybe. We'll see if he gets any sort of screen time, airtime.
I hope
you know,
not.
in any sense. but-
Helmut is basically Donald Trump of the F1 world, isn't he? He kind of
Pretty
just
much.
he's
Yep.
been in charge
Yeah.
for so long when he shouldn't be and says all the dumb stuff. So
Yeah.
And
Looks like he
look at
smells
what
terrible.
he did. Look at what he did to that team. He was part of that internal power struggle that saw Adrian Newey leave, that ultimately led to Christian Horner leaving. He was the only guy, if you can believe kind of the rumors, that was holding Max Verstappen there.
Yeah.
He's
Which is
gone.
great.
So what
I'm
does that
all down
mean?
for next leaving. Whatever.
Yeah.
Red Bull PB fastest team. Sounds good.
I think Max and
Yeah.
Lewis should pair up and just go race GT3 cars.
Wouldn't
Tough
that be
stress.
something?
I
That's
would
right.
watch, and that would be the first time I would ever watch a full endurance race all the way through. Would be the
100%.
first one where they team up in a GT3 car.
Where they hand the wheel off to the next guy in line would be insane. Max can build a 2.5 minute lead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give it to Hamilton, who
Yep.
He loves his
can do what he
Lunaire.
can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure does.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be unreal. And it would only just make F1 better because,
Yeah.
you know,
Lots of new
Max is
racers.
kind of an unstoppable object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the car was decent, it would just be another runaway. So,
Yeah.
Well, and that's
I
what
agree.
I found this year. How I found this year so exciting is because Max didn't have the dominant car.
yes.
And so I didn't have the excuse of saying, of course, Max won. He was in that car.
Yeah.
My God, is he an amazing driver
Yeah.
Yep.
when he doesn't have the best car?
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's so crazy.
He is superhuman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what he does.
It's scary. Like, you just look at his stints and, like, the consistency lap over lap. And
Oh, that
he's
was the
AI.
big thing.
Yeah.
The first time I really saw that was when they were testing Lawson, trying to hype him up and showing how close kind of he was to Max. And you looked at Max's readouts for
Yeah.
5 laps, and they were identical.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He's
And not
just-
slow.
No. He's consistently unreal. It's wild. Yeah.
All right, you teased it. We're going to
Yes.
pull out some way too early predictions for the 2026 season.
Yep.
We stuck it to, we're each going to make one team prediction and one driver-based prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to lead us off?
I can go first because I think I kind of touched on my driver prediction already earlier a
Do it.
little bit without
Okay.
realizing that I
Yeah.
did it because
Yeah,
because I tend to do that. So I'll start with my driver. My driver's Lando. And my prediction for him is I believe that he'll be in the top 3 or 4 drivers in the championship, but I don't believe he will be in contention to win the championship by the end of the year. I think he'll start out strong and kind of carry some momentum at the beginning of the year possibly, and continue to kind of just simmer there in the top 2 to 5 position kind of thing. I think that's my prediction for him. I see him as a great driver that just makes too many silly mistakes to kind of continue winning championships unless they get their car in the same position that they had it this year, which from early talks, it doesn't look like they're going to be that team based on the way Mercedes is praising their own engine. So I think he'll still continue to be an amazing driver, but I also believe fully that he'll still continue to make enough of those silly mistakes throughout the year to not be able to win a championship. And then my other
You'll
prediction,
repeat.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see it happening. And my other
Fair enough.
prediction is probably going to make you guys mad because you described them as beige drivers, but I
It's a beige
think
team.
beige is going to work. I think Cadillac is going to be in the midfield for the first couple years, but I'll stick to this year. I think they will finish 6th in the constructors.
Of
They've
11 now.
Yes,
6th of
I
11.
think 6th of 11. I think
Wow.
they have the consistency. This has a lot of kind of what ifs tied to it, obviously, and I could
Oh, yeah,
very well
'cause
look like an absolute idiot if they get
we're
their
half a year
car
away,
terribly
man. Do it.
wrong. Yeah, and if they get their car terribly wrong, if they can't build it correctly right, like obviously, then whatever, I look like an idiot. But based on the way they came into the WEC, they as a constructor, they were fairly strong from the get-go. They were never challenging for the top constructor spot, but they were always kind of at the top of that mid-pack. I see them being able to translate it in F1. I believe they've got a Ferrari engine, right?
Yes, they do.
I think so, yeah.
So they'll
Yeah.
have the straight line speed as long as they can get their setups right. They have the consistency in the drivers to
As long
consistently
as they
finish.
take no other notes from Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll
Take
they'll
the engine, and that is it.
yeah, they'll have the consistency in the drivers to kind of be in the points for the most part throughout the season as long as they can keep a car running for a full race. And I think that'll be enough to kind of take them into that 6th or 7th spot. But I'm going to stand by my prediction of 6th.
I like it. I
Hot
hope it's
take.
true. But with this active arrow thing and it being a new outfit, I'm worried about their reliability issues.
Yeah.
Along with some of the other smaller outfits, but especially a team that's new to the sport.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand that, but
I
but
hope.
also the argument there is to be made McLaren has struggled with new rules consistently, right? So maybe they'll get it wrong. They might not be up there.
Yeah.
Ferrari has struggled this previous year. Who knows what they'll end up pulling out.
Yeah.
Mercedes will probably get it right. Red Bull will probably get it right. It seems to me that Aston will be able to get it right? They have all the pieces to get it right.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull might struggle a little bit because of a Ford powertrain.
Yeah.
That's valid.
So Red Bull might struggle a bit. I think all those bottom end teams, Williams always struggles with new rules. You got
Wells.
so I can see them kind of ending up in 6th, right? Because as
That's
long as
fair.
they can be consistent, that's all that I think
Yep.
it's going to take this year. Because I see a lot of struggles across the board that can come in because there are so many new pieces coming in to each
The
team.
points
Right?
battle outside of what's going to probably be the top 3 teams is going to be epic because of that. It's going to be
Mhm.
massive swings every weekend depending on how teams get their setups done. So
Yep.
yeah,
We'll see.
So a
We'll
little
see. Or,
bold, but
the
I'm
wheels are
standing
gonna
by
fall
it.
off.
I
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it.
we'll see.
I like it.
Yep, we'll see.
I will go next here, and
Yeah.
I will say driver to watch out for. I also talked about this before because I forgot I wrote it here. Oscar Piastri will be whatever version of Dark Side Oscar Piastri is. Yeah, unquestionably
Lord
81 all
Oscar.
the way. Lord Oscar, he will be a man possessed from probably today onward, just going ham, trying to fix those gaps. If he can fix those gaps after like race 12, whatever it is, I don't know if it's a longevity thing, if he just needs to get fitter mentally, whatever, he fixes that. He is probably the second or third best driver on the grid, no question. So if the car is half decent, Oscar will be the one to watch for. If he's at McLaren, probably.
Yeah.
I think next
You
year he
never
will
know.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. For the whole year, who knows? But yeah, I unquestionably he will be one of the best drivers we have.
Okay.
So long as he fixed
I hope so.
that whole Europe thing.
Really do.
We'll see.
Yep.
Team to watch,
Yeah.
which this is purely instinct, purely vibes. I cannot accept that a dominant enough team like Mercedes could suck so hard for a full second set of regulations. They have to be better this time, and they will be just because they're too good. They were too good. They'll figure it out. They'll have learned their lesson from, kind of biffing the regulations this time around, and they will come back and be very, very competitive, especially
It's
being
not
one of the
time
engine
to-
suppliers.
Yeah. It's not time to experiment for them, right?
No,
The obvious answer is the obvious answer. Take it and perfect it.
yeah,
It's
this
not
is-
time to experiment.
It's not about gambling. Like, you have the drivers. Just build a good car. You don't have to build the best car. Just build a good car, and they will do most of the work, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
I want to see zero pods again.
Yeah, right?
So
Who needs air?
I'm once again glad that we did it in this order because you're hyping me up like
True. Accidentally.
like nothing else here because I'm fully on that Mercedes hype.
Yeah.
Buying into it early. I will call it right now. George Russell's world champion.
Oh my gosh.
Big one. I won't deny it, though.
That's
You might
not
be onto
because he's the
something.
best driver.
Yeah.
That's not because he's the best driver. That's because, pardon me, Mercedes is going to get the car so right.
Yeah.
And because when Mercedes does get the car right, he's going to get the results.
He will be there.
It could be an early year thing. That first half a year, he might bank such a cushion that all he has to do is kind of Lando style at the end, cruise to third,
Yeah.
take it home. But I do want to stress this isn't because George Russell, I think, is going to magically be the best driver on the grid. I think he's probably already now, he's 3 or 4 for me on the grid.
Yeah.
But I'm calling him world champion because Mercedes is going to give him the car to do it.
Super valid. Unless Antonelli is just an absolute beast.
Well, hey,
You never
I
know.
wouldn't necessarily say no to that. It would be exactly what just happened to me this year, where I was backing Oscar hard to watch his teammate win. But whatever, I
Yep.
guess I'll settle for that too. But no, I'm fully backing Mercedes and George Russell.
Same.
But my team, Aston Martin.
It's a harder
I-
take than Cadillac.
I don't know what it is about Adrian Newey that just invokes critical success at an outfit. He's taking over as principal as well.
Yeah.
Which part of me desperately hopes that gives him the pull and the power to punch Lance Stroll in the mouth and tell him to get lost.
Doubt it.
Doubt it because Daddy's paying his paycheck, but
Yeah.
I think Aston Martin finishes 4th.
Ooh,
Constructors
fourth.
4th.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
who? Well, I'm not gonna.
No,
dig
let's
into
do it.
that.
Let's
Yeah,
do it because
okay.
nobody ended up putting Williams. But my other hot take was I think Williams could be 3rd.
Oh,
I do too.
I don't.
I do too.
I disagree. I
Val-
the reason I was gonna ask was because I honestly see Aston in 3rd.
Oh,
What?
I see Williams crumbling.
Wow.
I see Red Bull really struggling. They've lost a lot of the pieces
They
that
have.
that
They've hemorrhaged,
that
yeah.
made this team come together
Yeah.
for the last few years. I don't know if they're in
I don't
that
have them
top
up there.
3 anymore. For me,
I don't
it's
have
going
them
to
up
be
there.
Mercedes and then give or take Ferrari or
There.
McLaren, And then I think Aston could slide into third. Like
Wow.
I got sad news, Ferrari. I've got you fourth or fifth.
yeah, and like
You
so
guys have no faith.
Nope, none.
Wow.
Zero. And I didn't have faith in Ferrari before the start of this year. It's one of the few things I got right. So I'm rolling it again with
That's
these.
valid.
see, and I did the
No faith in
opposite. I
Ferrari.
put way too much faith in Ferrari, and now I'm just hurt. I'm scorned, so I can't do it again.
The trick is to not think about them and just expect them to be third or fourth. That's what I do.
Again, like these are way too early. We have zero data.
Yeah.
You know, my Williams, I'm basing this off of James Vowles, who learned
Yeah.
at Mercedes, long time integral part there.
And one.
And now they have a lethal driver lineup, better than most other teams. McLaren's
agree.
driver lineup is better.
I agree.
Ferrari's driver lineup on paper is better.
It's debatable now.
Mercedes driver lineup,
It's not
I
as
need
good, I don't
Antonelli
think.
to pick up the slack.
If he does, yeah, but otherwise, I agree.
But then-
Williams driver
and it's
lineup.
Antonelli
Williams.
needs a couple more
Yeah.
years for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't see another team that has a better driver lineup than Williams.
See, that's the
Agreed.
hard part for me though, is I only think driver lineup goes so far. Like we watched
You
a
need the
lot of
car. You
success.
need the car.
Yeah, 100%. And I maybe I'm lacking faith in Vowles. Like maybe that's on me and I'm completely wrong, but I just watching Williams since I've started F1 and how much they have struggled. Like yeah, they had some success this year, but their success was in a straight line. Like they had nothing but straight line, right? Like so that
Yeah.
there's only so much that you're getting right in a car to make it go fast in a straight line. And I just don't see them being able to translate their success this year into new regulations that can succeed, right? I don't know. I could be very wrong.
My only
but-
hope from that though is that right from the get-go, they said like they didn't develop this car.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't develop their 2025 car. They put all their assets into 2026. So for them to
Yep.
still pull that result out,
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can combine that with the focused effort on 2026.
Same.
Yeah,
And don't
I'm
get me
hyping
wrong.
them up huge.
Yeah,
but...
don't get me wrong. I want Williams to
Yeah.
be great. I
Yeah.
think they'd be a really cool team to see succeed. Like I everybody loves an underdog, right? Like I'd love to
Yeah.
see them succeed. I think I have a hard time putting hope in things that I've watched not pay off for me. So I think that's probably where I'm coming from. And I'd
Yeah.
love to be proven wrong on that one, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. When I started watching F1, we cheered when George Russell finally got the 1 point the whole season.
Mhm.
We lost our minds. Like,
Mhm.
look at Alpine, the bottom team this year is 22 points. We were watching Williams not score a single point all year. This is already big success to me for them.
Yeah.
I still see this as a trajectory upwards, so I think they'll be great next year.
I agree.
and- I mean-
I see it more like a stock market, right? Where it's not always a straight uphill trajectory, and this might be a down year right before they spike again. So that's kind of the way I'm viewing
Fair.
it, I think.
And my downs rely heavily on Red Bull and Ford, and my not
Yeah.
even zero. It's in the negative % faith I have in Ferrari.
Yeah, that's
next
fair.
year.
Yeah,
So
very fair.
I have faith they will do something wrong. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, very fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be
Yeah.
very cool to see Williams do really well. It'd be very cool to see Aston do really well, besides the fact that then Lance Stroll is having success. That's the
Yeah.
part for me that would be a bit of a downer, but it would be
Screw it.
cool to see those two teams do well for sure.
Let's just see 6 teams fighting for the championship. Let's go.
That would be unreal.
nice. All right. Well, that was an extremely lengthy recap of the 2025 F1 season. It was exciting. Had its ups, had its downs. We saw a first-time world champion.
Woo.
Heartbreak for some, excitement for others.
Most.
Ended with
Uh,
our way too early predictions, which you can bet we will clip and bring back at every point possible next year when it's going our way and not.
Yes, it will be shoved in people's faces 100%.
It
Can't
will
wait.
be. Special thank you to Drew for coming in and adding some credibility to our podcast. He's
Thank
the
you
guy
for
who brought
having
us
me.
into F1. He's been
Let's
watching
go.
it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Cheers. It's been a blast. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Glad I can. I think this is the most civilly we've ever discussed F1, so this was great for me.
That was.
Yeah, no kidding. Eh?
Yep.
That's
Oh,
why
why
we
are
took
you
a week
yelling?
off before the finale and,
That was-
and recording.
Probably smart, but no,
Yeah.
this was great.
Yeah.
So I will leave us with this: that Max Verstappen deserved to win the championship. Oscar should have won the championship, and Lando won the championship.
That is so true.
Oh,